Yep, that is blood, all right. Stubbed my toe on these rocks here. They're sharp. Oh man. All right, so we are out in the garage. This is my escaping box here. So I've actually had these rocks for quite some time, probably a little over a year. Kind of did these rocks a while back and just never really went back to it, just because I knew that I'm going to be having to delay the big tank for some time, just because priorities shifted, and you know, things may change. I might be changing up some of the things. I'm not really quite sure. So these rocks right now are just glued in. They're not cemented in, so they've just been sitting here glued, formed for some time. I just made different structures just to see, you know, what I liked. But what I'm thinking of doing is maybe grabbing one or two of these guys and putting it in the temporary 55-gallon tank, because it needs to be redone, just because right now it's just fish only. It will house, you know, the fish until we get a bigger tank for the office room. But I kind of want to redo it, put some of the start transferring some of the corals over to make sure that tank is established. Right now it's just really plain. I'll show you a clip later of the tank inside, but it's just really plain. It's just like rock, and you know, there's just fish. But I'm thinking of grabbing maybe like this big piece here, just because it's big. There's some like nice holes where the fish can kind of swim in and out of, and pairing it off with like either this guy here or this guy here. It's kind of hard to see because I have the light kind of just up here and it's not showing enough light in the front, but kind of getting down here. There's like plenty of room where the fish can kind of go under and around, and if you want to put corals on top, we can put corals on top. But I'm really thinking of using that big one back there so that, you know, the tangs, at least they can swim around or just hide or run around or something, along with this maybe, or this one here. And just kind of, you know, cementing it, kind of finalizing all this thing down here and letting it dry, and then just, you know, putting it in there just see what it is. But anyways, that's what I think I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to start trying to cement some of these down, let it dry, and then we'll see what it looks like. I made a mini one here thinking that I was going to do like a nano. This one's pretty cute. Look at this, check this out, guys. Look how cute this is. It's a little tree, a little branch. Isn't that cool? Just sits on its own. That'd be pretty cool for a couple of frags here and there. I think that's a neat one. I got some big flat ones here too, that I couldn't really think of what to use or what to do, but let's go and use this guy. I think we're going to use that guy, and I'm thinking of using this guy here, but yeah, I think I'm going to use this one just because this one's more angled down, and yeah, I think we're going to go with these two guys here. Alright, so I have this tub of E. Marco. It's actually pink or purple. So we'll see what happens there. I kind of wanted to pick this color so that when it dries, you'll kind of have like the coralline algae color look to it, but we'll see what it looks like. It's my first time using it, so we're going to mix it in a cup or something like that. I'm going to start applying it to the rocks, and then we'll see what happens. Alright, so I got a little paper bowl here, some water, some popsicle sticks from Walmart pretty much. Here's the mix that you're supposed to put in. The ratio, well, in order to do this whole thing, you're supposed to do like 12 fluid ounces of water into this, mixed with the bag. I'm going to do it in small portions because it dries pretty fast in like 20 minutes. So I don't know what the ratio is, and we're going to figure it out. In order to keep everything kind of semi-consistent, I found this little cup here, and I'm going to scoop out that exact amount, maybe half. Let's start with half, I don't know. Almost full cup of that guy in there. Put this back in here. Let's seal this off. I'm going to mix a little bit of this white powder, or I mean, this white liquid here into it. This whole bag's supposed to do the whole thing, so I'm going to only put a little bit in. Okay, that's already probably too much. And then I'm gonna add some water And they said to mix it until it's kind of liquidy, thick. This looks like it's pretty good consistent, right guys? Looks pretty good. I can kind of smell it already. It's chunky. Maybe we need a little bit more powder. I think we added too much of the liquid. I think we can work with this. Right? Yeah, I think we can work with this. This looks pretty good. It's really sandy for sure. I guess that is cement. Is the sand? It smells like paint. Straight up like paint. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off my safety glasses real quick. Looks pretty good here. I have this little stick because it was recommended to use a stick so you can get it in the cracks and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and fill in as much things as possible. It's basically all the joints is what I want to seal up. Gotta work kind of fast because I got 20 minutes before this thing dries. I don't know how I'm gonna fill in some of these bigger gaps. I'm just gonna stick whatever I can in here and see if it dries and set correctly. Because there's actually a lot of big gaps that I have left in between here. I'm gonna be really generous with the cement and just kind of put it everywhere, and to make sure that it actually gets a nice bond to it. Because if you don't, it's gonna suck and it's gonna break off. It's definitely easy to apply. This is actually, like I said, my first time using this stuff, and it's starting to already kind of get hard. You gotta work fast. Gotta work faster. Okay, so this is what the first layer looks like, and we use almost a half of the bag. Yes, it's a lot. The reason why was because the rock had a lot of holes, and I wanted to cover up the holes because I didn't want the corals to kind of just get stuck in there permanently. For example, I'm going to be having anemones, and the anemone's footing likes to kind of go in between the cracks of the rock and just kind of stick there. Once they get in there, you're not going to let them, like, it's not going to let go. So I ended up filling as much of the hole as possible. This is kind of like the first layer, and then I'm going to kind of go back and fill out some of the things, kind of smooth it out. Like, there's a lot of big gaps where I needed to kind of just put down a layer, let it dry for like 24 hours or whatever, and then go back and redo it. So this is just the one here. I kind of did it in the back a little bit too. So for the most part, the first, like I said, the first layer is kind of done. I'm gonna go back tomorrow, lay down the other ones, and start this guy here. You see all these holes here? Like, I filled everything up on that side, so I'm gonna do the same thing here. So I might end up having to buy another bag, and that's just for just 2 pieces, which is kind of ridiculous. Yeah, so hopefully I can use this whole bag just for these 2 and then kind of go from there. But yeah, these holes and these gaps here, they take a lot of cement just to kind of seal and just kind of get in there. Like, same thing here, these gaps here. So yeah, it's just gonna take a little, you know, a couple layers, but I think, you know, I think it's looking pretty good. You know, the color's kind of growing on me. It looks pretty nice. The purples looks pretty nice, you know. But yeah, everything's pretty smooth. The thing is really easy to work with, but it dries super fast. The direction said do it in small batches, because if you try to do the whole bag at once, that's it, man. You're only gonna probably get through like a 1/4 of that, and then like that's it. Like, the whole thing is gonna be dry and ruined. So definitely do it in small portions. And yeah, everything is turning out pretty good. I have to go back and kind of just go in between and under, just kind of make sure everything is kind of secure, but everything is looking pretty nice right now, guys. Welcome back to day number 2. It looks like it dried pretty well. It has a little bit of flaking and whatnot, and I'm gonna scrape off some of this and reapply a second layer to this. Before I mix this batch up here, I'm going to see where I need to place everything. So I'm gonna fill in this gap. There's a couple things over here, and a few things along here that are kind of deep. So we shall see what needs to be done with this guy. Finalize this, and we'll move on to the second one. I was looking at the tank again. I think we can only probably fit this one big one in here, just because it's kind of, it takes up a lot of the space already. So we'll see.
I'll still, you know, finish that guy there, but we'll see if we can fit both or not.
And then when you add in this, when it's too much water, just add in more. That's how I kind of been balancing myself out. Keep mixing it, and this is even still a little bit too watery for me. So I'll just add a little bit more. Until it's a nice consistency. Bam, that is nice right there. All right, let's apply this fast. All right, so the main piece is all done. We cemented everything. We filled in all the gaps. There are maybe one more layer that I need to do, and this is how much I have left after doing this guy and the first layer for this guy here. This guy will probably just need like another touch up. So I think this bag here should be okay with finishing this and a touch up here. So yeah, I'm surprised. I thought this would have done a lot more, but yeah, like one bag, which is like 5 pounds, does about 2 big pieces of scape here. So just, if you're filling a lot of holes and gaps, that's what's going to take it up. But if you're only filling like just lines and whatnot, it shouldn't matter. Like for me, I filled in the holes. For you guys, you might not really care, but everything's turning out pretty nice. This one looks pretty good too in terms of the gaps. There was actually a lot more gaps in this guy here than this guy here. So definitely need a second fill here just to cover everything and that's done. So the plan is to try to get both of these to fit in the tank inside. This box itself is 4 foot, and we have a gap here, and we have a little bit over there. So this is about 3 foot. The tank inside is about 3 foot. So I think we can make it work with just tilting this a little bit and tilting this a little bit and just bringing it up or something like that to try to get it inside. So I think it should work out just fine. So this is probably going to take another 2 days or so to kind of finish. Probably won't get an update until like next week, but yeah, so let's go inside and take a look at the tank inside and see how plain it is and why it's in desperate need of a rescape. All right, so here's the tank inside. It's pretty bare bone. I wanted to keep it this way because I am going to eventually move the Colorado Sunburst into this tank, and we needed to basically make sure that this tank is completely clear of the other anemones that I used to have in here, which is like the rose tip and some rainbows. This is why I have the bag of carbon here just sitting in here as well. It's going to, you know, run like this for maybe another couple months, and then when I'm ready to move coral in here, we'll move the corals in here. But as you can see, the rock work is just kind of just rocks slapped together. But what I'm thinking is getting those 2 pieces, putting one like on this side here, and then putting the other one on the other side. Again, it might be a tight squeeze. Of course, we're gonna remove all the rocks here and then put those 2 pieces in here. That way, the fish will have places to swim in between, up and down kind of thing. And then that way we can kind of clear up all this other junk that's on the floor as well. So yeah, that is the plan. Probably next week is when I'll start moving those rocks in here. So stay tuned for next week's update. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure you guys are subscribed. And like always, until next time guys, peace.